the last one to come off the shelf in the '80s, and it's still really good though. It still feels like an '80s slasher, and it is a little different. Like I said, it's one of those back end '80s slashers where they try to change it up a little bit. And look, this is a fun movie. It's a fun slasher. It's got great kills in it. There's cameos off of the movie. Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, Greg Nicotero, more. There's more. Um, Scott Spiegel, the guy who directed the movie, has a little cameo in the movie. There's several people that have cameos in this movie. And yeah, great kills. And I even like the story. It's a great story for an '80s slasher. Right now, the real problem that I have with Intruder from '89 is the way they sold it. Okay, that Sam and Bruce and Ted knew Scott, who was directing the movie, and he had directed this movie. Actually, here's a little fun fact: he made a previous version of this film called The Night Crew, and it was shot on Super 8, and it was people liked it so much that that's how he got this gig for it to make Intruder, and so just the problem I had with the way it was sold is that like they put all the wrong people on the box. I mean, they had to sell it, right? But they put on the front of the box it says like Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi or something like that. And Sam Raimi, the way they try to make it look is like he's directing it. He didn't direct the movie. He's just got like a short, small cameo. Bruce is even smaller. I think he's just at the very end. And Ted's in it a little bit too, but this is kind of a regular role for Ted at that era. But yeah, so they put that on the box, and even like the way one of the other boxes I sold tried to sell it as a Renee Estevez movie, and they even put her name, Renee, like about that big, and Estevez about that big, and I was like, come on, man, like it was a savage wasteland in the '80s. I remember I've seen a lot of Frank Stallone movies. Okay, Chad McQueen, Frank Stallone, but on the box it just says McQueen Stallone, right? But yeah, so that's kind of where they went with this one, and it's a shame because it's a good movie in itself, and it deserves its own credit. It doesn't need that extra. And the only reason why those guys showed up was to help their buddy out anyway, and they're having a good time. That's back when they were having fun, It's not just a job back then. And so yeah, I always love this movie. Every time I see somebody who hasn't watched it, I recommend it to them. We watch it again. For me, let's be realistic. I think you have to look at these movies through the right lens, right? If we're looking at this through that era, let's say '86 to 9 or '89, back end of '89, this is one of the better films, if not the best one, right? Really, because by this time the Jason and Freddy movies are starting to get boring and weird, and they're going to Manhattan and having babies and stuff like that. And these are the ones where they're still getting it. And yeah, so I like Intruder. I said we're going to look at it, through the right lens, and I think through this lens, it's one of the better films, 7 out of 10. If you're looking at it objectively, like somebody who's just walking on off the street and you turn on a movie, I don't even know if you're going to finish it, because really, if this isn't your thing, that there's no reason for you to watch it. It's probably like a 4 out of 10 for you, and you're definitely not going to get the killer. And here's another problem. My second biggest problem with the film Intruder, not the original cover. The original cover they did try to sell it with Sam and Bruce, but they just had like the silhouette figure on the cover, and it just had like a cracked door open where you could see some light through the door, and there's like a silhouetted figure standing there. I believe it's like a guy holding an axe or something, right? When they put this fucking movie back out on DVD, they put Bill on the cover, all crazy with knives and shit. You're not supposed to know Bill's the killer till the fucking end of the movie. That takes away the whole movie, because you're supposed to spend the entire runtime of this movie thinking that it's Craig, the boyfriend, or Joe, the produce guy, or something like that. Even if you think it's Bill, it's not supposed to be a certainty until you finish the film. They put the picture of, and it's not like it's Freddy or Jason, where it's just like a killer that we're all used to. This is a whodunit. This movie is a whodunit. It has that Agatha Christie whodunit mystery element to it, even though it's like pouring natural light all over it or something. So that's what it becomes at this point. And then when you put the picture of the cover on the box, it's all said and done. So I didn't want to put that picture on the cover of this review. You guys will see I found a picture that didn't have that. But yeah, it doesn't really matter because I'm telling everybody who the killer is, right? So they might as well go. Anyway, yeah. It's a 7 out of 10 for me, guys, just as a horror fan. Like I said, if you're walking off the street, turn it on Tubi and start watching it, you might not enjoy it at all. But All right, guys, that's all we got for tonight. But I am going to talk to you real quick. We need your help. We're in dire straits around here. We're trying to keep the lights on. We're trying to keep the internet going. And there's a really good chance this might even be our last show because I'm not sure I'm not even sure where we're going to be next week if things don't start changing or drastically getting different around here. So we are asking for your help. It's not something that we've ever done in the past, but we have had to do it now. And yeah, if you guys can drop a couple bucks to the channel, we appreciate it. I mean, there's 25,000 members in the group, and I wouldn't even, ask anybody for anything really, other than I'm just asking for a donation if you can make it. I'm saying it seems like it would be easy, right? But it's not. You know how it is, guys. And so I'm having to come back on here and ask again and again, but it is what it is. So yeah, if you can, there's a link in down below in the description. Drop us a couple bucks. We appreciate it. We're trying to get things going. I mean, we got everything going the right way. I don't know. I might as well just go ahead and tell the whole story since I don't know if I'm ever going to be back on again. To be honest with you guys. Yeah, I got hurt back in December, and I wasn't really prepared for it. Didn't have enough money saved up, and didn't have everything in a good place in my life where I could afford to be hurt. And so now here we are. It's 3 months later, and all of our resources are basically gone. And we're trying. I have an appointment to get my disability on the 21st of April, and we've applied for housing and all that stuff. It's just a matter of being on all these different wait lists, and it taking a lot longer than what we have to make it. So yeah, we're trying to just kind of go month by month. I figure if we can make it another month around here, I can get my disability, and we can go from there. And if not, the next video you guys see from me might be walking down the street picking up trash or something. I don't know. And I'm being funny, but it's not funny, right? All right, guys, that's all I got for tonight. Thanks for listening to my bullshit. I hate to get on here and be like that because you guys have all been my friends. And I even had it at one point when I was running this before, back 2 years ago, when we had the channel up and it was pumping. I could get on here and talk for 10 seconds and 200 people would watch it. And we had over 2 million views in 3 months or something. But during that period of time when everything was jumping, we were doing Patreon, and I got to feeling bad about it. I got to feeling because I'm noticing I'm looking at my Patreon list, and everybody who's donating to the channel are friends of mine. So at a certain point, it feels like I'm asking friends for money, and it was I didn't want to ask them to pay me to do something that I like to do. So I ended up dropping out of Patreon. I know several other people still do it, and that's on them. If this is your only living, which I guess right now, I wish I had stayed with it. I wish I'd stayed with it right now because it would be really handy right now, seeing how I can't, hoe a row or anything. It would be really easy, nice to be able to make money off the internet right now. But I didn't keep it going. I let it go. I started playing video games and quit paying attention to it. And then when I came back, it was all, spread all over the earth, I guess. And but yeah, that's all it was. It's just back when I was doing it then, and I was getting money from everybody on Patreon. I'm looking at my Patreon list, and it's all my friends, and everything was cool till the second or third month, and then I started I guess the third month I started to get some friends who were like, "Dude, I can't pay you this month. Can I pay you?" And I'm like, "Man, don't do that. Just don't worry about it." You know what I mean? And then I started feeling bad, and I was like, here I am, but this is a different situation. The situation I'm in now is a crisis situation. And for the first time in my whole life, and probably the 10 or 15 years most of you have known me, that yes, I'm out there and I'm having to ask for help, and I'm not real happy about it, but that's the way it is. And I'm probably just making this video for myself because I don't even know if any of you guys will watch it. I had 5,000 friends on Facebook. I had 25,000 people in my group. I had 3,000 Twitter followers, and every time I tweet, I could get fucking famous people to tweet back to me and all that shit. And social media is great, ain't it? Until you need something, until you need a hand from your 35,000 fake friends. I can't say everybody's fake. I can't say that because I've had some good people on here, especially in the group. We've had 3 people try to help us out, but it's just it's only 3 people. I appreciate everything that anyone does. Don't get me wrong, but when it's only 3 people and there's 25,000 people standing there, it feels like you're humiliating yourself for no reason, first off. And then secondly, it feels like you never had a real friend. You know what I mean? You thought you did, but you didn't. And Yeah, that sucks. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know if we're gonna be doing a movie club anymore, guys. If we do it again, Greg, Bench will get to check. We'll get to pick, but I don't even know if we're gonna be here at the end of the week. I don't even know what I'm if I'm gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen after Friday. And I mean, I probably won't shut the group down. If it comes to that, I'll rename it and turn it over to somebody else and let them run it. When I get in a more stable situation, I start again from ground up. And that I don't have a problem with that. That happens sometimes in life. You have to start from the floor. But I guarantee you, this time when I build myself up, I will definitely fucking remember every single person who helped me and didn't help me when I actually the one time in my life needed help. And not to say that I'm going to treat people any different, but I'm going to probably be a lot because we were just talking today about like all the shit I've done for people over the last 10 years. How many movies I've helped or people making, independent movies, I've helped them raise money. $14,000 on one of them. I mean, the stuff that I've done for people in the horror industry and just all my friends in general. And then like it's sad, man. But it shows you like everyone needs to be aware of that these people are not your friends and this world is fake and not everybody in it is fake. A few people will actually step outside of that to show you that they're not fake. But for the most part, these people aren't really your friends on social media, not your followers, your subscribers, all that stuff. They don't really care about you. And I could probably pull out a gun right now and shoot myself in the head and that I might get the most likes I ever got on a video. Probably. All right, guys. That's the end of my bullshit rant. And I would normally say that we would talk to you the next time we got something we're talking about, but honestly, I'm not even sure I got anything else worth talking about anymore. Bye.